Hello, I'm Shaunna. I'm passionate about pages and I wanted to sneak one last video in for 2025. I fell in love with this layout shared by Stampin' Up, designed by one of the design team for the Product of the Month group. And I was going to try to make this sunburst, but it's the end of the year and my brain's a bit fried, and we've got a hot date at the zoo tonight for New Year's Eve with the little ones. So I decided to simplify things for myself instead, and especially because I was making it into a double page and it was going to get busy with flowers and things, I didn't think I needed the extra elements of the sunburst. So over here, this is a 4.5-inch strip of the dark coloured paper and 4 pieces that are 4.25 wide by 2 3/4, and then the same patterns but in a different order over on this side, and they're 2 3/4 inch squares. These gorgeous papers are all out of the True Blue Florals pack, which is December's product of the month. So when you spend $125 in a single order, you qualify to purchase this paper pack for $9. Now, there's probably going to be some left over at the end of December, and so it will carry over into January. So if you've already done your December order and you're regretting not grabbing them, you can jump on, I would say, early in January and place an order and you'll be good to go. There will be a new product of the month the first Tuesday of January, January 6th as well, to choose from. Now, I received some preview products, and in amongst them are these gorgeous vellum pre-cut pieces, right? And they've got gold embossing on them. So there's tags, there's solid flowers, there's some gorgeous leaves, some frames, just some little background accents. Look, little ampersands there, and some little banners and smaller tags as well along the way. Oh, and an outline flower there. And when I was looking at these, I thought, oh, hang on, the shape of that looks quite similar to this. Could it be fun to layer one of those flowers over the top? I think it could, just on the feature cluster to make it stand out a bit. So there we go. I'll see how that works, and I might be able to pop in some of these gold leaves as well. But so these will be available January 6th. They're called Beautifully Adorned Ephemera Pack. Pretty cool, huh? And you get 2 of each sheet in the pack. Now, the other embellishments that I'm going to use on this page are these gorgeous die cut leaf shapes. Oh, that one's a bit shorter than that's how it should be. And they come from this set, which is called Petals of Beauty dies, and they're part of the I think it's called the Bountiful Beauty suite that was released in November. So you can get just some filigree flower outlines, which would give the similar sort of effect to this, and then a few different leaves and some solid flowers, so you can layer those outlines on top of another one. But for today, all I'm using are those 2 leaf shapes. And I chose to bring in a colour called Crushed Curry with the blue because I wanted to break up the blue a little bit. And the way I decided on Crushed Curry is that I used my trusty colour coach. The Night of Navy is that darker colour there, and so I lined it up with Night of Navy, and the complementary colour across from that is either Daffodil Delight or Crushed Curry, and I like the more earthy look of Crushed Curry. What's going on here are some wedding photos. We went to a wedding in October and they weren't close friends of ours, so we only have a few photos of the day, so I won't need a lot, but the blue and the Crushed Curry will work nicely. The venue was outdoors at a winery in the late afternoon, so there was a bit of a glow in the sky, do you know? And blues, the guys all had blue suits, so I think it will work well. When I'm doing a layout like this, where I'm using photo mounts and I'm sticking to the one, like one paper, one cardstock for the photo mounts, I start with my largest photo. This one's a 5x7 mount, so the crushed curry is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and the print is 5 1/2 by 7 1/2. Then I cut a 1/2 inch in from each frame, and that then gives me a frame for a 4x6 photo. And then when I cut 1/2 inch in on that, I get supplies that I can make one for a 3x4 photo. This one I'm not going to do it as a like a full frame around. I'm going to offset that a little bit, and that will overlap there a little baby bit. And then from a separate piece of paper, I cut the square mount for my square photo there. So this one, this print, I was able to get all of those easily out of one sheet and have some pieces left over, which was awesome. Now, in terms of these lovely flowers that we've got here, so there's some flowers with leaves on them, there's some partial flowers, there's some just little sprigs with buds, and there's some small leaves by themselves. They were all fussy cut from a sheet of this. Well, actually just from strips of this that were left over from some other projects that I've done. So super easy to cut out, you know, didn't take me very long at all. And then these shapes were cut from another piece of paper, which was this one. So I didn't have to do stamping for this. There's no stamping on it. It's all just paper or cardstock. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause now. I'll glue down all of my photo mounts, and then I'll talk to you about how to get balanced looks when you're using lots of small shapes in your floral clusters. Alright, so here we go. That's all stuck down. I've just put my cut flowers just out of the way, and I'm going to work on this cluster here, which is what I really liked in the layout. So I don't know if mine's going to be as dense as hers because I needed to spread my flowers a little bit further, but let's see. And I'm not going to do the ink blending behind it. So this is going, it's an L-shaped cluster going around a corner. So you want to have some pieces that follow the frame, and then a couple of pieces that kind of fold out. And if I've got a bold color like this, I tend to try to layer that on the bottom so that it's a bit of an anchor point. And if I need more of the color, I can always add it in amongst flowers and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to begin that way and try and get this to come out a little bit. So I'll overlap those two pieces. This one I was die cutting from a scrap, and it wasn't as long as the original piece, but that's all going to be covered by flowers anyway, so it didn't really matter. So I'll put that a little bit further out. I might overlap it a tiny bit over the photo. It won't be very much. And then this one's another one that was cut from a scrap, and the edge of the leaves got squared away. But again, I will do my best to cover those with flowers. Okay, so there's my frame. Now, when we look at this, she has two large flowers and then a third one over the top of it. So I need to have a look at what I've got in terms of solid flowers. So I've got two of those that can come. I think that one might be better down here, and this one actually that way so that the leaves go out, that one there. And then this one was one that was cut from the edge of the paper. So rather than that being completely on top, I'm going to pop it underneath. Okay, Now, I've said this before if you follow me on my videos, do not overthink clusters, okay? As soon as you start trying to move and get like exact positions and all the rest of it, it just becomes work. And scrapbooking should never be work. It should always be fun. So trust your instincts, alrighty? Now you see by positioning this, I'm covering up those two straight edges. And I didn't put tape right on the edges of the flowers so that my photo will be able to slip in. Now this is where I can decide if I want to do that. I quite like it, but I won't stick it down for now. Now I've got another part of a flower, and I feel like that could go in here, and it could tuck in there and underneath the photo. So it's sort of filling that spot a little bit. Might be able to get that over a little baby bit there. Now I've got these leaves. Okay, I've got 3 of those ones, 2 of those ones, a little sprig here. I feel like I need to bring some things out into the corner. So because I've only got 1 of these, I think I'll kind of center that, but not right pointed into the corner. And I'll tuck the stem just underneath a little baby bit there. Then this one is very similar to that, so I'll put this one in another spot. I might just bring this one up here. So again, we've got a bit of a mixture of colors and textures. You know, that's always a good thing. And perhaps this one can come in. I'll pop it under that flower and over the middle flower. A little bit there. Now I've lost some of my yellow, but I did cut some extra dies, so I can bring out a leaf so that it's coming out further. I'll just lift up those a little baby bit. Oopsie, sorry. There we go. And that looks a bit more balanced. Okay. And now let's see, I was thinking that these ones, maybe I could have one sort of on each side. Maybe poking out behind that one with this one over the top, and then this one up at the top here. So it's just like real flower arranging really. And then for these little wee ones, I'm just going to have them floating, one here and one here. Now I do actually like that. I'm just going to put a little bit of vellum in behind the embossing, so you a little bit of adhesive, so you really won't see it. But that just gives another little bit of texture to that cluster. Okay. Later on, I might put some bling around it. We'll see how we go. So that's the basic idea of how you would build it. For this one, I'm just going to have it kind of going up into that panel, and for this one, it will come out and overlap these. So I'll go ahead and do those and then show you how I'm going to do the finishing touches. Alrighty, so I'm really happy with that. That worked out quite nicely. I do feel like we need some something a little bit extra in a couple of the spaces here, and I was trying to decide whether I would use one of these squares to put the names of the couple, this is of the wedding couple, or to do it up here. And I think I am going to stamp it up here, and then this long banner piece from the vellum ephemera, I will cut about just a little past halfway, so that I can put the date on one piece of vellum and the name of the winery on the other piece of vellum. Now, to stick these sorts of things down, I love using glue dots. I've modified my box so it's easier for me to get, and I write on it the size, so when it's on my shelf I can see it. So I'm just going to hide the vellum right on the cut end, and then under the embossing, because the cut end will go underneath the photo mat and the embossing will hide the other bit. Okay. There we go. Right, I can't tell you how many projects I use glue dots for. You know, when you need them, you just need them. Now, when you write on the vellum, just write with your regular journaling pen, but do your writing last. If you're concerned about making a mistake, write on it before you glue it down. Whichever way you do it, don't handle it again for several hours or just leave it overnight, because it needs to dry completely. The vellum is not as porous as paper, so it takes longer for the ink to dry, okay, along the way. Alrighty, that will be just another little spot for the journaling. I don't have a lot to say. This was a work colleague of my husband, and because it's wedding, I don't have lots of photos, because, you know, we've got a photo I got off the internet of the couple, we've got a photo of the wedding party, and then there's a photo of Mike and I, and then I took a photo of the table decorations. That's it, really. Now, the other thing that I thought we could put on here are these gorgeous, what are they called? Metallic textures rub-ons. Okay, so they come on a sheet that you can cut apart, and I've got these little sparkle ones here that I thought I would cut apart and dot around the flowers. And the reason you want to cut them apart is that when you peel the backing off, they will really easily and really quickly bond with the paper they're leaning on. So you don't want to peel off a big section of it and rub, because you'll get things in the place you don't want them. So you just peel it off like that, pop it down, just rub it with your finger and peel it off. Super easy, super easy. The backing isn't glued on, it's just kind of static that holds it there, really. Pop that one there. Oops. And if it doesn't come off, I just rub it back again. There we go. And I might put one over here. So don't, you know, a little goes a long way with these. I might just move my little leaf a smidge and pop that one there. missed a bit. There we go. And then I'll pop one up here. So there are silver and gold in the rub-ons. I am a real gold fan, so I tend to use the gold first, and I felt the gold went better with the crushed curry than the silver would. But that's the beauty of having both, that you can choose. And I'll pop one over here. And I'll just finish that off. Alrighty, and I am out of town because I have out of time. I mean, I have to get ready to go to the zoo now for a sunset picnic, and we will bring in the new year at around 7:30, and then all go home to bed, which will be great. So I'll finish this off, and I'll pop some still photos on Facebook in the next day or so. Hope you enjoyed that. If you like this one, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back in 2026 with more inspiration for you. Bye for now.